No.
Oh, well. It's too late.
Okay, I'm ready now.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I had to breathe in a couple of times. Yeah, there you go. There
Now
you
I'm
go.
ready. Now I'm ready. This is a vdngcast6. Been a while. I looked.
Hello, California.
Been like 8 months.
Has it?
Yes. And I think also that's 8 months, not even including the month it took me to put out that video. So it's probably closer to 9 months.
I thought the last podcast was in like November. Oh my god, it was 8 months ago. What?
June 11th.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
well,
not
you know,
even.
life
I forgot
happens.
we did one in June, honestly. I thought 4 was the last one. But
I
yeah,
thought we did one. I thought we did one sooner than that.
I feel like maybe we talked about doing another one and didn't. I don't know. We also only ever did one guest episode.
That's right.
Um,
That's right.
and I didn't feel like coming back with a guest was the right way. Like Goat wanted to be on. Nothing against Goat. I don't know if you'd be a good guest, Goat. I don't know if you got it in you. You
You
know?
need you need the style and the grace to come inside this exalted podcast
These
of ours.
hallowed halls.
These hollowed halls, hallowed be thy name, the name being Video Dawn
Yeah.
of video. And you just need the qualifications, and you haven't done the interview or anything yet, so like, we gotta
Yeah, I
you know
think if we were to have Goat on, we just need to like give her own section for like 10 minutes, and then that's her part in the video, and then we get her out of here.
that's there you go. There you go.
I feel like
That's a
that's
good idea.
the only way to go about it, because like you just need like a nice, condensed Goat segment. So maybe we'll make the Goat segment. We just like make up a bunch of questions and then ask Goat to answer them.
It'll be like an interview.
Yeah, like an interview. So that was the first topic I had written down, was like, what have we done for the last 8 months? Not much of fucking anything. Like, I wanted to do some stuff on the website. I think you wrote like one major post on the website, the like star thing, or the thing about shine sprites.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. That was a good post, and I wanted to make more posts. I had a bunch of ideas, and I made yet another post where I'm like, here's a bunch of stuff I want to do, and then I did none of it.
I don't have any ideas for what to write. Like, honestly, like I could write reviews of games, but I don't know how to review games.
Mhm.
Or I could do like top 10 stuff, but I don't know what to write about top 10 stuff. Like, I don't have any ideas about like what exactly I would want to write on the website. I have thought about other stuff to do, like YouTube or live streaming and all that sort of stuff, but I mean, I just haven't gotten around to do anything, you know.
Yeah,
I've been focused on other stuff.
I think my problem is that like I have ideas, and then when I have time, I just don't do it. Like
That's fair. That's
I'll
fair.
have the free time, and then I just like won't do that, which kind of yeah.
That's a mood.
Yeah, there's like a bunch of stuff I
Absolutely
want to
mood.
do. I mean, but that's just something that doesn't happen, unfortunately, and I need to build it. It's because like I have a bad work ethic as it is, but like the fact that I can't sum up the energy to like do something I want to do, like is not great.
Yeah, for me it's like I'll come up with something that I want to do. I'll make like a plan and all that sort of stuff, when I want to do it, how I'm gonna go about doing it. And then
Mhm.
when it comes up, it's sort of like you, I just don't have the energy, the motivation. Don't really would rather just do something else. Would rather
Yeah,
just, sleep or, play games or something like that.
Yeah, I think
use my time otherwise.
it's like part of like moving on or becoming an adult is like you realize you don't have time for a lot of stuff you want to do, and you have to like spend the time that you do have like doing stuff that'll help your mental state rather than things you need to get or things you like wanted to do. Like when I come home, I'd much rather sit down and play Breath of the Wild for a while than work on the website, which just sucks, but it's kind of how it is.
Same. That's how it is with work. My work is not good, so I would rather just instead of taking the time and energy to do something on like the side or maybe like a hobby or something like that, it's much easier for me to just completely shut down my brain. It's
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just easier for me that way.
I mean,
And healthier sometimes.
you relax. Um, I will say when I actually just had a weird thought. I won't say where you work, even though I'm sure everyone knows, but I actually used to watch this YouTuber. I don't know if you ever knew of like the creatures. He was in their group, but there's this dude SSOH Seamus, and he would do like a bunch of let's plays. But I always loved his like he would do ROM hacks of Mario Super Mario World,
Hmm.
and early on, like the way he kind of got popular is that he would just like sit down and play Super Mario World and like talk about his day. And he also like at the beginning worked where you work now
Oh,
and just
good.
like vented every day on his Super Mario World stream. I'm
Yeah,
getting
that
an
sounds about right.
I'm getting an Amber Alert. If anyone is in Knoxville, and you see the tag BMM5038, they have a kid that they stole.
Where the fuck is my phone? Where's that come from? Oh, there it is.
Yeah, it was vibrating. I
Okay.
was like, I hope I'm not getting a phone call. And it was just an Amber Alert, just a child being stolen. So nothing
Oh
to
yeah,
really,
just one of those little things.
nothing to worry about. But
Yeah, nothing to worry about.
yeah, yeah. I think about that. Like he just came home and like vented and played video games, and then uploaded it, and like got to be pretty big. And that was like my favorite stuff he did.
That makes sense. I
Yeah,
mean, like, there's only so much you can do with just regular game commentary. Like talking about stuff outside of that seems to like fill in the void a bit
yeah,
when it comes to doing content like that.
yeah. I definitely think that's the difference between like like let's players and like people who are good at let's playing or streaming.
Yeah,
Um, unless
streaming
like
especially.
yeah, like I feel like Vinny could probably talk about anything. Like that's why his offline streams were still good. I thought a lot of that is working with chat, but it turns out he can just talk to himself and still have the effect. Um, but I mean, obviously having a chat to work off helps, I'm sure. But I don't know. Think about
With
like
who?
Vinny.
Oh, Vinny. Yeah,
Yeah, for a bit there when there was the controversy, he was uploading videos like of just him playing
yeah,
stuff pre-recorded, and he does pre-recorded content still sometimes, and it works.
yeah. I mean, he just likes talking though.
Yeah, he can
Like
just talk.
yeah, I think that's what I think that's what he said. He just likes talking and playing games.
Yeah,
That's what keeps him coming back.
I get that. I just kind of there was a point where I thought like, well, if I had a chat, I could work off chat, and I probably could, but I think a lot of them can work off chat because they already have the talent to just talk to themselves.
Oh, I thought
Um.
you were talking about like a person, not like Twitch chat.
Oh yeah, no, I meant like Twitch chat. Like, oh, you meant like chatting in a call. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I could
No,
see
I
that.
meant like I thought you meant like someone called Chad. I was like,
Oh,
did I miss something?
Chad.
A Chad.
Like the
Like,
dude
yeah,
with
that's
the
how
arm
Chad
from
does it.
Bleach.
Yeah,
Yeah. No,
or like the guy whose head is shaped like the country.
yeah. No, I meant like Twitch chat. Like a lot of streamers you think like, "Oh, well they're big and they don't have to make up topics all the time because they can work off their chat." But like someone like Vinny when he doesn't have his chat can still like be entertaining just by talking to himself. Um
Yeah, you can still do it good. Honestly, like when I first started doing like Twitch streams like years back, part of the goal I wanted to do with that was kind of help me develop I wouldn't say social skills, but to just help me get used to talking and all that
yeah.
sort of stuff.
I feel like I might be better at it now that I'm like doing teaching, because sometimes you gotta talk and just like deal with empty like silence, and so it might be less awkward now if I try to stream again. But also like
Yeah,
it's also like I don't know about you, but for me it's like an energy thing where it's like I can't just do anything with stream. I feel like if I feel like it tires me out for some reason, even though it's like just the same thing. Like I don't act any different, but it's still exhausting. It's pretty weird.
yeah. It's something that I can do for that I can only do for a small amount of time.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
Because
know how people like Hassan stay live all day. I can do like 2 hours and then I'm like at my limit.
oh my god, and there was a point in time where Hassan was like doing like 8 or 9 hour streams every day without a break.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, no, he
Yeah.
would do like 10 to 12 hours a day. Like he would do news for the first like 5 hours and then he'd play games for the next 5 hours.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't understand how you could do that. That sounds maddening. But
That is incomprehensible.
I guess he reached a point where it's like he's just gonna be himself all the time and so it doesn't matter. Like and there's nothing he's ashamed of doing on stream or anything, so
Gotcha. That
I don't
makes
know.
sense.
But I was also thinking about like I say like most Let's Players can just talk to themselves and it doesn't have to be about the game. I feel like there's also like an exception level where it's like I don't know if you ever watched Chugga Conroy, but that dude can just talk about the game the whole time and keep it interesting.
Really?
Yeah, but he also like the way he does his Let's Plays is so like he plays one game at a time usually, and he goes through like everything the game has to offer and talks a lot about like the history in there, and he like has scripted content and like hits everything about the game, so he can like he's like just finishing Paper Mario right now, and it was like 60 20 25 minute episodes. Um,
Wow.
yeah, and I didn't watch all of that one, but like I watched some of his other Let's Plays, and it's like he's one of those dudes who you can like watch him and get the full game experience without like playing it, which is weird.
That's something I like to do. Just try to play as much of the game as possible. Be a bit of a completionist with it. That's what I did with Metroid Prime when I streamed it.
Yeah, yeah. I guess we can diverge into like what we've been playing lately. I was playing Persona 3 Portable as like my like de-stress thing after school and my procrastinate thing, and now I'm
Yep.
back on Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild's good.
And obviously, in the interim between the last stream, I played all of Cyberpunk.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went back. I've done like 3 playthroughs of Cyberpunk, like between then and now, and I just came back to it recently after watching the anime Edge
Mm,
Runners,
mm.
which was really good, and haven't picked it up in the past few days because I switched to Mass Effect after I saw a video of someone using a bunch of mods with it. Like there was a video I watched of like a guy like doing a couple of highlights with the playthrough that he was doing. He had like 250 mods or something like that
Jesus.
installed over 3 games, and I was like, I kind of want to do that, and so I installed a bunch of mods for each of the games. I just finished Mass Effect, the original one, and yeah, it's really fun with mods. Mostly just like not necessarily changing the main aspects of the game, but like adding more features and more details. Like
Mhm.
the original game, all the environments are a bit like empty,
Yeah.
and there's a mod that adds a lot more stuff to all that sort of stuff. So yeah, same game, but just a new way of playing them.
Yeah, I don't. I really never would have thought of like playing Mass Effect with mods just because it's so comprehensive already.
Yeah,
In a way, like I feel like so engaged with Mass Effect when I'm actually into it that like I feel like mods might detract. But if you have like cosmetic mods that add a lot, I could see how that would be nice. There's definitely things to
yeah,
improve, especially in one. One could have used a full remake, like
it really could
real
have.
really bad.
Yeah.
There's
They changed a few things in the remaster which were good, but yeah, the
I've only played the
it sh-
remaster.
yeah, it's definitely better than the original release.
Yeah.
Like the original release, I mean, it's become real dated after as time passes, and The combat is much different from the rest of the games, and it's a bit slower, a bit
It's only like
clunkier.
20 hours and like nothing happens.
I mean, yeah, at least with the main story, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot less features of the main story, but I do like the side missions and all that.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I feel like playing like the side missions and all that sort of stuff is much more necessary to get a longer play experience.
Yeah.
And plus, there are some interesting stories behind them too.
I
So,
wanted I
yeah.
wanted to ask, how did you get 3 playthroughs out of Cyberpunk? Because like let me explain first. I felt that kind of drive with like New Vegas is like the main game I think of where like I beat New Vegas and I'm immediately like, yeah, I could play that again. Uh
Yeah.
but with Cyberpunk, I felt like I it was a game where instead of like there being options that I take and choices and stuff like in New Vegas, it was one of those games where I felt like a playthrough is comprehensive. Like I do everything I want to do and then I like get an ending rather than I I do everything I want to do and then I get the endings and then like I'm done. Um
Uh,
and
um.
I just like don't see the replayability in that way.
Well, for me, it was my original playthrough was just me experiencing the game. I didn't necessarily get to everything in the game. I just played through, focused mostly on the main story and doing all that.
Hmm.
Second playthrough was like a full 100% playthrough. So that was me like doing every side mission, doing every gig, doing every police encounter and all that sort of stuff, purchasing everything. And then now I'm playing with a different background. So
Hmm.
like first two playthroughs, I did the corporal rat background, and now I'm doing the nomad background,
Hmm.
and that's caused enough different dialogue options and all that to keep me interested. And also, it's just been a while since I played Cyberpunk, and I just wanted to experience it again.
I get that. I'm definitely looking forward to the DLC. But my thing is like I I think because of how developed of a character V is, like especially when you pick your background, I just like don't like I played V as a nomad
Hmm.
and playing it again, like I picked a female V and I went corporal rat to try and like make it feel different and it's still just like I don't feel like it's V anymore because I got so attached to my V, like with the nomad background and everything about him. And so yeah, I don't know, it just doesn't hit me the same way. And I don't feel like there's definitely different build paths you can go, but it's like I feel like it's one of those games where I go for like efficiency no matter what in my build path and like I try to do something cool at first and then it's like but I should actually just spec into crafting and stuff or I'm gonna be fucked. Um and so like I guess that's what my perspective is. Like I think V is a pretty developed character and I feel like it's a game that you can like comprehensively do stuff without like I think during my first playthrough to I went back like 10 hours because I messed up chipping in and
Yep.
that's like where you can unlock the best Johnny ending or the
Yep.
the suicide run ending. And then I just like worked my way up for as many levels as I could get to do the suicide run and then I was like done with it. I really wanted to play it again, especially after watching Cyberpunk, but yeah, I just don't think I see the game in that way, which is fine. But and hopefully there's more than one DLC, or maybe I don't know. I would just look forward to 2 a lot, and I would hope that they do more like branching path stuff in 2 than they did in 1.
Yeah, I really doubt that I'm gonna have the energy to play another playthrough after this one.
Yeah.
Uh, Sort of because of the same thing. Honestly, though, I do try to switch up my play style with every playthrough. So, like
Hmm.
last time around, I was much more of a close combat sort of person with revolvers and shotguns and using the gorilla arms and all that sort of stuff. And now this time, my character is much more stealth based.
Yeah.
So you have cloaking abilities, got sniper rifles, and all that sort of stuff. In regards to crafting, I honestly do enough side activities like those like that 100 or so like police encounters or illegal encounters that you can finish up. I do a lot of those. That helps me grind levels to the point where crafting doesn't become as much of a necessity.
Hmm.
So yeah, and I'm surprised. Honestly, I'm surprised that they that it's getting a DLC. Honestly,
Yeah, I'm
Considering yeah,
I'm
considering how things went when it first launched, I'm surprised that they're even still investing that much time and effort into it.
yeah, I'm glad they're doing the DLC because I feel like this DLC might just be trying to like push into two. Like maybe two will be more government based and or something, and that's why we're working with the government. But I really think two could do like some really crazy shit if they like take the base that they have with one and just like make like the draw of like New Vegas is that there's like a million different factions, right? And
Hmm.
each playthrough you side with different people. Sometimes you fucking uh like let that other dude take over the Brotherhood and then like they suck. Sometimes you fucking nuke the Brotherhood. Uh and the cons and everything. Like there's these like all these like intertwined factions that you like wanna work with or against and like that come into the play. So even if you just do I've never done a Caesar's Legion one run because I just don't have like the mental fortitude to do that. But
You
I
don't
just
have the
feel
energy.
yeah, I just feel like with Cyberpunk, I think of it as the same way I think of Mass Effect, where like it's mostly like my run is comprehensive. I'm trying to hit all the beats, rather than like I'm doing this run because I don't do Renegade in Mass Effect either. I just like don't again I don't have the guts to like hold that out to the end.
Yeah, I do. I'm doing a Paragade run right now, and there are some spots where it's really tough.
Yeah, well,
But yeah, it's the same thing. I agree.
yeah, they're
I
like very similar. I feel like if Cyberpunk had been compared more to Mass Effect before it came out, like even the background thing like is very Mass Effect.
yeah,
So and the like limited character design and stuff.
yeah, and I think that I don't know exactly how the two compare to this, but I still think that the game still leaves a bit of character development to you. Like you
Yeah,
can decide how to interact, how to look at situations, and all that sort of stuff, and see how you uh feel about them and how your character feels about them.
yeah.
But yeah,
All
but yeah,
right.
I think it'd be fun to see the different branching paths, like in New Vegas or in other stories.
Yeah, I would like to see them attempt that. I also hope
Yeah,
V is just gone after this game. Hope it's a completely different character in a different location.
probably, hopefully.
Yeah. Okay. So, you know how people compare the Taco Bell menu? Like they talk about how like all different items or it's all the same item but like in different formats.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this. Okay, so you know how there's like fruit by the foot and fruit roll-ups and like gushers. They're all like they have the same like flavor profile. You know,
Yep.
like they're basically the same thing as the Taco Bell thing. So I wanted to ask, what is your favorite form of like those fruit by the foot gushers or fruit roll-ups?
Um. Fuck. It's probably like it's a tie between fruit roll-ups and gushers
Hmm.
because like I view fruit by the foot and fruit roll-ups sort of the same. It's like a roll of fruit.
Yes.
It's a rolled up fruit snack. Um. But I don't eat fruit by the foot. In the way I guess that you're supposed to. I just sort of take it all out and
Shove it in your
I
mouth.
just sort yeah, I just sort of shove it in my mouth. I don't have the time and patience to unroll that stuff. You know, I have things to do,
Yeah.
right? So, so fruit roll-ups are probably a more efficient way to do that. But I like fruit gushers because they're packaged in a way where you get a lot with every piece. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah,
They
they're
kind of gush.
I feel like with fruit roll-ups and fruit by the foot, sometimes I'll like start out eating them slow and then I just shove the rest of it in my mouth.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
I think gushers is the best form, but it is irritating that when I buy a box of gushers, I get half strawberry gushers because I just like want the tropical ones.
I like the blue gushers.
Yeah, exactly. I like the orange
I
ones too.
I will say that when I was a kid, fruit roll-ups, best way to get teeth out.
Yeah. But
Because like
you know what I
you,
think it is. I think fruit by the foot. Fruit by the foot is the child, and it's the child's fruit snack. Fruit roll-ups are the man's fruit snack. That's what I think.
you're right. You're right.
Your
I,
thoughts?
I uh sure. I mean, can you go in more in depth about that?
No. All right. So,
Okay.
uh, on Sunday we saw the Kaguya movie together. Uh,
Yeah.
we rolled up in our nice suits and saw the Kaguya movie.
Dressed
Um,
in our three pieces,
yep.
as one should be for a premiere. For such a premiering
A
movie.
fine
It's not
event.
a fine event. That's words.
There were probably 5 people in there other than us.
Yeah.
Um, there were like some women up the top who kind of looked at us weird when we walked in. There were some dudes like
Uh.
right behind us,
Yeah.
and then there was like another group of like 2 people like down and to the left of us.
Yep.
So like it wasn't a huge audience. I didn't expect it to be a huge audience because there's like a shocking amount of showings. Uh,
How many showings were there?
there were like 4 on Sunday alone.
Oh.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So like not that unexpected that we were like a low audience, but yeah.
Yeah.
So what did you think of the movie?
I thought it was really good. I will say that I think we talked about this after we watched it. I will say that having read the manga already and knowing what was happening, I still liked it. Not as powerful when I first read it, but I feel like if the movie was my first experience with that story arc and all that, I would be just as satisfied, I
Yeah,
guess. I would like it just as much. And they did a really good job uh, adapting it into that format,
yeah,
which isn't necessarily surprising because they seem to be on their A game when it comes to that.
yeah. I will say like my thing, and I do agree with you on like if that was my first viewing, I probably would have been really engaged. And I
Yeah.
still was pretty engaged the whole time. But a major thing for me is that I was going in for like the humor of this arc, and like I really, or not even just the humor of this arc. I really like the like Ishigami half of the arc, and it kind of got a backseat in the movie. Um, and like it gets like semi developed, but like they don't uh take that all the way. Um,
Yeah.
and I still think it's good, and I like the way they did it. But I think I would have, if I had made the movie, I probably would have made it like 10 minutes longer and given Ishigami more screen time. Um,
Giving him a bit more screen time.
yeah, and also I think the first 2/3 of the movie has a lot of like the humor, and then they like really commit to the like romance and drama for the last like third of the movie, which is fine, and it's like cool. Again, I would have been really into it if I hadn't read it already, but I think I like wanted more comedy in that last third. Which I mean, they adapted the arc the way it is, and they cut the Ishigami part, so like that's how it was going to be. But um,
I mean, like 3 seasons of the whole comedy stuff, right? We're talking
yeah,
about.
it's definitely not unjustified to do like the like commit to the romance for the last third. I just
Yeah,
think I was more invested in the comedy portion because I knew that what happens there.
that's
Um,
fair.
and it's still like good, and there were a lot of good laughs in that first 2/3. So it's not like if you watch it for that, it's not like it's going to be bad. But I just think
You
like
know,
it's definitely like that's more of a romance movie than a comedy movie for a lot of it.
yeah. It honestly seems it makes sense, like all things considered, because I think like it's been a while since I read it, but I feel like the manga sort of switched a bit from it's switched a bit towards a less comedic stance. I mean, there's
Yeah,
still a lot of comedy in it, but after like that whole stuff that stuff happens, it starts to get a bit more serious.
yeah.
So
I don't know if you remember, but there's literally in the there's that one like thing that says warning comedy ahead like after.
comedy head, yeah,
That's like one of my favorite jokes, and it's just an in between chapter joke. But they literally like warn you like Yeah, we're going back to jokes now because we did the romance for a while, which yeah, that's fine. This is like the arc where they really do like the serious stuff, so it makes sense they adapt it that way. I still think it's great. I gave it a 9 on Mal. Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
I think as like I don't know. I don't feel like there was anything like that special for us as manga readers. Like there were like moments, but like generally it's like a good adaptation for first time viewers, and it's like just we like it because we love Kaguya, right?
Yeah, and there wasn't like any big changes from the manga or anything like that. It just kind of went with how the manga went. I
Yeah,
think it was pretty satisfying. I think it's pretty good for everyone.
yeah. And I will say it does give like there are some the emotional stuff does hit pretty well when it does. So
Oh yeah.
nice. I do hope we get another season or another movie or something. I don't. It's like becoming a real trend with like adapting manga that they do a movie. And like they really fucked up the quintessential quintuplets, which is like actually pretty good, but the movie like is really poorly paced. And this didn't ever feel like it was badly paced. It felt like they took a bunch of anime episodes and like put them into one movie, which works.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it completely works. But yeah, I hope they make another season. It seems like they're kind of alluding to it in a way,
yeah.
because they kind of acknowledged that they left some left some stuff out from this arc.
It's
So
popular
hopefully,
enough,
oh yeah,
and I think like they show like some of the Ishigami stuff, but they don't explain it, which to me says like they'll have another season. Also,
yeah.
when it opened with fucking we can just say this. When it opened with Little Kaguya, I was so hyped because me and you were waiting so long for that.
Oh my god,
We were
that was the
waiting for
best
that.
part.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, good movie. Recommend it. We'll watch it with the Video Dong Boys when it actually comes out on streaming, which I don't know what that is when that is. What's the best type of ice, Ash?
The best type of ice. There's more than two.
Well, there's like crushed ice, and there's like little cubed ice, and there's like bigger cubed ice. And then
And there's ice block.
there's like the big ice like ball that you put in like a glass of whiskey.
I
I don't
don't.
know.
Balls of ice and whiskey.
You ever seen that?
What?
Hold on.
No. That just seems to me like it's just a variation of
Like this.
cube ice. No, I've never seen that.
Yeah,
What?
this is like a thing.
Oh, I had no clue.
I don't know why,
Um,
but it's yeah, you get it's like a cocktail thing. You get a ball of ice. Anyway, what's your favorite ice?
uh, I, as a guy who doesn't really have ice in most of his drinks, since I just have a mini fridge in my room, I would say crushed ice, honestly.
You like crushed ice?
Crushed ice. Yeah, because I've started getting into like making like shakes and smoothies for myself, like protein-based shakes and smoothies. And there are a few recipes that I've seen that use crushed ice, and that seems to really help make those recipes even better. So like there's stuff like where you can make your protein shake taste and feel a bit more like ice cream or
Mm-hmm.
frozen yogurt or whatever, and you could use crushed ice in those recipes, and that makes it pretty good. So yeah, I'd say crushed ice. But ice
Interesting.
spheres, now that I know about them, those seem really interesting. I might have to put those in my next drink of uh whatever the hell.
Yeah, I think I also like crushed ice a lot, but I really like the ice that's like has a hole going through the middle. Something about that I like it. And my
Donut?
fridge makes bad ice, like really shitty ice. Um, it's like ice sphere. What the fuck is this?
Spear ice.
Spear ice. Uh,
Sharpen it into a spear.
yeah, but mine makes like this crescent ice that's like too big, and I don't like it. So yeah.
We just use ice trays. Our fridge isn't that fancy.
Oh, you don't have like an ice maker in your fridge? I have an older
Don't
fridge,
have
but
an ice maker.
it's got an ice maker. Um, how do you feel about the 4-day work week?
The 4-day work week would
The
do.
idea of it? You would
I
do it?
would do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Well,
generally the idea is that you go for like 10 hours a day, but you only work 4 days of the week. So You know, I don't
Well,
know.
there's also other variations,
Yeah.
like working 8 hours but with the same pay or something like that, which is even better, honestly.
Yeah, I think 8 hours is probably optimal anyway, because we like know stuff about how hard like your work ethic falls off after a certain period of time.
Yep.
And 8 hours with like a 30-minute break in the middle is pretty optimal. Um, but like the 4 day work week just sounds really nice because like I don't know, we can do it and like make lives easier, and like it doesn't have to, like we could do like, I don't know. I think a lot of companies could probably do like staggered breaks where like someone has the first 4 days, someone has the next 4 days, and then in the middle you have like a day that alternates or something. But
Yeah.
or you know, like a day where everyone is there in the middle, like everyone is there on Friday or something.
Well, in the Washington Post, I think like either today or yesterday I think they were reporting on like on a test on a survey, not a survey, a test or something like that, where a bunch of small companies in the UK switched over to 4 week work weeks just to see what would happen and all that. And apparently things were so good that most of the companies involved are going to be changing their are going to be changing how they schedule hours from here on out,
Yeah,
because they just
I was
go ahead.
talking with Tyler about this, and like he was saying how a lot of businesses could change to it, but the problem is that like someone has to make the move, and if they make that move, then like doing business with other companies becomes more complicated because they have one less day. So it's like a move that we have to like commit to and have like mandated somehow or something like that, because um yeah, that's like the only way to make it happen, because
I
otherwise like
believe
a business puts themselves at a disadvantage. But like with a staggered thing, like you still have people in the office every day. Maybe I'm sure there's people who wouldn't mind working weekends
yeah.
or like regularly weekends.
Well, I think you talk about it being mandated. I think there's also incentives that can be offered to companies who decide to switch to 4 day weeks for their workers.
Yeah,
I
that's
know in
more what I that's
Maryland.
more what I meant, to
Yeah,
be
yeah. No,
honest.
I in Maryland, I think the state legislature over there is considering a bill right now to give businesses that switch to that system a some sort of tax credit.
Mhm.
So maybe having some sort of incentive like that to push companies along, and then maybe it starting with smaller companies and then slowly going up to larger companies and all that. Maybe
Well,
that could work.
I especially think this would be really beneficial for places like Nashville, right? Because it's like a tourism area anyway. So
Hmm.
if you add the extra day where like people are off and they're like, oh, well, now instead of going to Nashville on Saturday and having to recover all Sunday, I can go, you know, Friday that I have off, and then I have 2 days still of like actual weekend. Um, so like that kind of
Actually,
thing. Depending on, I don't know what day you take away. Like if it's stagnated or if it's staggered, then you know it's a different day for everyone. But like
yeah.
I don't know. Typically we go like Monday to Friday, right? I've heard people talk about like you also get Wednesday off. That'd be kind of weird.
Yeah, I don't like that. I would rather have it just be like a full 3 day weekend. Honestly,
Yeah, I think I would get rid of the Monday.
you get rid of the Monday.
Yeah, I think because Friday is already like celebrated because it's the last day, right? So having it
Hmm.
off is like very different. Whereas like there's already a good vibe on Friday. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
we're going
maybe.
into the weekend. Whereas there's a terrible vibe on Monday. So I mean, the vibe moves to Tuesday, right? But like at least you get rid of a day that people already like are not very fond of.
You want to rehabilitate Monday. Monday is what you want to is what you want.
Yeah. Basically, I want more people to work less hours and get paid more, and I'm not kidding.
That's that's fair. That's
That's
reasonable.
based, is it not?
That is based as fuck, my friend. I
Yeah.
agree 100%.
And obviously that's just theoretical, like not getting into the studies, but like everything I've looked at, and the you brought up the study earlier, it seems to suggest that like this is more efficient. I don't know, I just
Yeah.
know like kids in my school, like there's just like everything flows better on 4 day weeks. Like we had Monday off this week, and
Mhm.
they came in on Tuesday. And this week, at least these 2 days so far, is like the best attention span I've gotten from them at all.
Really?
Yeah, like tangibly better. So I think there's something there. That's obviously like very um, what I've seen. But unstoppable force versus an immovable object. You've heard of this conflict.
Yes, I have.
The age old conflict.
The age-old Newtonian conflict.
Who wins?
Hmm. That is a good question. Do we know the traits of the unstoppable object and the immovable
You got it
force?
backwards.
the
Okay,
the
so
unstoppable force and the immovable object.
so when
Fuck.
I think of an unstoppable force, right?
Yeah.
I think of like it's like a train. But it like cannot be stopped. It's like coming at you, and there's nothing you can do. It's coming and it's gonna hit you.
Mm-hmm.
The only option is to redirect the train and possibly kill less people, but have a moral qualm about it. But the immovable object is more of like that's like a harder thing to understand. Like they're like a mountain or something that just can't be moved, like a boulder maybe.
So question. If if this unstoppable force encounters this immovable object, can that unstoppable force uh just be deflected and be unstoppable elsewhere?
In a different direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. Like, or does if the unstoppable force meets the immovable object, does the unstoppable force just like go through the immovable object, but like not not move it?
Uh,
It doesn't say
that is a
that. It
good
doesn't
question.
say it's an indestructible object. It says it's an immovable object. It says you can't move it.
It
But
doesn't
like,
specify the properties,
if
is
like
what you're trying to say.
if you go through it though, and that moves some amount of the rock or whatever, that would defy the law of the immovable object. So you would have to like, it'd have to be that the unstoppable force like phases through it. Like, what if the unstoppable force is just like a ghost train? Like it just goes through stuff.
Yo, Ghost Train?
That's all I'm saying.
Let's
Like,
fucking go.
we talk about this like what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object, but like if the unstoppable force is unstoppable, maybe it's just like ethereal,
That's true. That's true. So
right?
like, or like it could be a different type of a different type of particle, right?
Hmm.
Because like radio waves, radio waves can move the mountains. Am I right? I
I
actually have no clue
I
about
don't know.
physics, but
Well, have you ever been in
maybe.
a tunnel, Ash? I think you lose connection when you're in a tunnel. So maybe not.
Okay, maybe not. Maybe not radio signals, but like you were saying, ghosts and shit.
Yeah, ethereal.
Yeah, ethereal.
Yeah. Um.
So yeah, it depends on the
That being
properties, and it
said,
depends on
we
if
do
ghosts
gotta
are real.
we do gotta pick a winner. Who do you think wins, the unstoppable force or the immovable object?
Well, I mean, in regards to the ghost situation, I mean, if the immovable object is, is the power of God, then I think that wins. But if it's not, then I think the unstoppable force wins.
Ash,
So
the boulder comparison is apt with that God thing because people talk about how Jesus is their rock. Um,
absolutely, absolutely.
I actually side with the unstoppable force because I'm very stuck on the phrasing of immovable object, and that like it doesn't say anything about it being unbreakable. It just says unmovable. So there might be a ship of Theseus argument there eventually. Like if you move a bunch of the rock, but like the base object is still there, is it still an immovable object? But I'm going unstoppable force. Um, so I guess you're an immovable object and I'm an unstoppable force.
Does that mean we stagnate? Now, has anybody considered like the feelings of both sides? Honestly, does physics include the scenario where the unstoppable force and the immovable object reach some kind of civil agreement that allows both to continue on continue on with their day without any difficulties? Has Newton come up with that? Did Newton think about that?
How do you feel about working a morning shift versus a night shift?
Okay. Um. Uh. Honestly, it depends on the day and it depends on the job. But I
Hmm.
prefer night shifts, honestly, because my type of job is physical. It's very physical,
Yeah.
and although working in the mornings allows me to get it done and over with first thing, it also leaves me really exhausted. So I can't actually really do much afterwards. I can just,
Yeah.
sit at my computer desk and just wander into the void of the internet, so to speak.
So
But
you like the vibe of like I work at night and then when I'm done I go home and like I wind down a little bit and then I sleep rather than like I get off at 3 o'clock but I'm tired for the rest of the day.
pretty much, yeah, pretty much. Working at night means I can wake up in the morning and do everything that I need to do
Hmm.
with uh, in a decent amount of time, right? And then once I can go to work, and then once I'm off work, I can spend like an hour or two just playing games and just relaxing and all that before I need to go to bed.
Yeah.
And I prefer that,
Yeah,
honestly.
I thought this was an interesting question because I prefer working in the day
Hmm.
generally. Because I just like having time at night. Even though sometimes I come home and I'm tired. Um I just when I get off work at like 11, all I can do is stay inside and like play games. Like maybe I can go out and get like food at the bar or something, but that's like about it. And also like when you're planning around stuff, most people work day jobs, unfortunately. So like when I'm trying to make plans with the boys, one of my friends works a night shift, and he goes in at like 3 o'clock. So we either have to get lunch or like he just can't come if we get dinner. Um,
Damn.
yeah. So there's a lot of like it's just a problem with how society is arranged, where generally people work day jobs, unfortunately. And I just think
Yeah.
like because of that and because of the human like the circadian rhythm and stuff where like I instantly am happier if I wake up to sunlight rather than my alarm. Uh I just like side with the day shift.
Yeah. I can see that. I can see, like like having a couple of days where I work in the morning just so that I can do stuff with other people, like during the night and all that,
Hmm.
is also really good. Um, but I'm a guy, but I normally don't really do too much in the evenings to begin with. Like even before starting to work night shifts and all that, my my main goal, like when it comes to everything besides work, is whether or not I can get something productive done with my day,
Hmm.
other than work. So being able to do that in the morning, being able to focus on that during the morning, um, really helps out with that. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I get that.
that's where I come from with it.
Yeah, there's definitely ups and downs to both. I think it's mostly like what are your personal conditions at the time because I think anyone can deal with either, but I think generally the human body likes morning shifts. I don't know. If you get used I feel like I'm more effective at night when I work on stuff. Like I always got more work done when I was like able to stay up all night at like 2 a.m. But I don't know. And I also naturally like it's easier for me to stay up than it is for me to get up early, right? But yeah, I don't know. I like the sunlight and I like seeing the sunrise and stuff, so all right. Last like major topic. I wanted to ask if you we want to make like a consistent opening. So, I don't know how many other podcasts you listen to, but a lot of them will do like they open the same way every time. Uh Obviously we have like a theme, but you know like certain like I wrote some examples here. There's one podcast I listened to uh about like the Supreme Court and they open every episode by like making a comparison or they have like a metaphor.
Yeah.
Um so they'll be like welcome to blah 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 the uh, uh the podcast that covers Supreme Court cases like Supreme Court has whittled away blank right or whatever da, 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 da. Or the Supreme Court cases that have whittled away our rights like a woodman whittling away at a log, that kind of thing. um his are usually way funnier because he actually writes them in advance. And then there's another one that I listen to where they go welcome to the blank podcast. I'm dude, and I'm here with a guy who blank, and it's always like something different about him.
Welcome to
Just
the
like
podcast. I'm dumbass and this guy fucks.
Yeah,
Is that what you're going with? Yeah.
that kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, I could be like, welcome to the vdngcast6. I'm D. This is Ashe.
And tonight we have a guest who fucks.
Just every time we say we have a guest who fucks, even if we don't have a guest.
That's right.
Tonight, our guest fucks. And
Tonight our guest fucks.
it plays the theme. And then it's like...
Our guest is you.
and then
You
it,
fuck.
And then it just like cuts into the middle of us talking. After the theme ends.
That's good.
Yeah. But I was kind of thinking, like, if it's like a modifiable phrase, that's funny. Like, I don't know, with like the Supreme Court one, like, the joke always makes me laugh, I feel like, every time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that just like the main host writes at the beginning of every episode.
I think I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
but
a
also
phrase
like,
with a or like a line with
like a
different lines
fillable
with the same
blank.
pieces. Yeah, kind
a
of like
fillable blank is what I mean.
yeah. Yeah, I know
But-
what you mean.
Yeah, I don't know how those podcasts like created that. Like, you know, maybe they did it once and they were just like, this is what we do every time now. But I don't feel like we have anything like that, because just kind of start talking usually, which is fine. I mean, we could just continue to do that. It's not like we need one of those. But I was just thinking about it.
Video Dawn. Where gods go to die. Video Dawn.
This is the
Different
Video
slogan
Dong.
every time.
This is the Video Dong podcast where gods go to die. This is the Video Dong podcast where there is Minecraft.
This is the Video Dawn podcast. A baby cries every time we speak.
This is the Video Dong podcast. We'll eventually have a logo.
This is the Video Dawn This is the Video Dawn podcast. This is the Video Dawn podcast. Your mother's calling you.
Pick up.
Pick up, please.
All right. Well, been a good podcast. We're going to end with a little laugh you lose challenge, Ash. You ready?
Ready.